Hello everyone, my name is Li Meng. I'm co-author of this paper, and this is Professor Lu Bing, the corresponding author of this paper, and this is Dr. Wang Kaijie, the first author of this paper. We are also of the paper titled The Establishment of a Modified Kyoto Classification Scoring System and its Significance in the Diagnosis of HP Current Infection. We would like to thank GIE's editors and reviewers, and it is really our great honor to publish this paper on this top magazine. Professor Lu, could you please introduce the background of this study and why you want to do this study?
Hello everyone. 10 years ago, Japanese scholar analyzed and summarized HPP-related gastric mucosa manifestations and proposed the Kyoto classification of gastritis. Kyoto classification scoring, including atrophic intestinal metaplasia, nodularity, and hypertrophic of the gastric founder, and the diffuse redness was proposed. In our previous study, we examined the predict performance of the Kyoto classification scoring and confirmed that it's also applicable to the Chinese population. However, we found that many patients with atrophic or intestinal metaplasia do not have H. pylori current infection. The reason may be that after severe atrophic or intestinal metaplasia, the normal environment of gastric is damaged and H. pylori cannot survive. Therefore, the presence of gastric mucosa with severe intestinal metaplasia does not present the current infection of H. pylori. Thus, in the present study, we aimed to establish and improve scoring system based on the Kyoto classification score and evaluate its accuracy in diagnosing H. pylori current infection and Chinese population. And Dr. Wang, would you please briefly introduce the specific process and results of my work?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Liu. This study is divided into two steps. In the first step study, we include a total of 667 patients and verify the accuracy of the Kyoto classification score. The results revealed that there was no significant difference between the degree of intestinal metaplasia between HP infected and non-infected subjects. This confirms that HP cannot survive in the context of intestinal metaplasia. At the same time, we found that nodularity, hypertrophy of the gastric fold, diffuse redness, spot redness, and sticky mucus are all related to HP infection and have a high diagnostic value. On the contrary, fundic gland RIP and RAC positive have statistical significance in diagnosing HP uninfected gastric mucosa, and the diagnostic effect is good. We then performed logistic regression calculations on meaningful endoscopic manifestations. After the calculation is completed, using the relevant statistical methods, we have established a modified Kyoto classification scoring model, and which is more suitable for Chinese population. The total score of the modified scoring model was -4 to 14 points. After the new scoring model was established, we gave an 1-hour mini lecture about the Kyoto classification of gastritis and the modified Kyoto classification scoring model to 7 other endoscopies. At the end of the mini lecture, each endoscopist was tested to ensure that they had mastered the Kyoto classification of gastritis and the modified Kyoto classification scoring model to determine that the HP infection status of the gastric mucosa. In the second step of our research, to confirm the accuracy of the modified scoring model, 9 endoscopists collect 808 cases. The accuracy of the modified Kyoto classification scoring model was 93.81%, which was higher than the original Kyoto classification score. The sensitivity specificity of the modified scoring model was 89.64% and 95.69% respectively. So Dr. Li, please discuss the significance of this study. At the same time, what is the special value of your research in view of the current existing knowledge?
Thank you for your question. Well, in recent years, the emerging endoscopic technology has facilitating the high-resolution white light endoscopy to diagnose HP infection of gastric cancer, gastric mucosa, with naked eyes. And meanwhile, other HP-related detection methods might have some shortcomings. So in our first step of the study, the HP current infection was identified in 39 subjects, and their pharmacological examination results were negative, but the existence of HP was further confirmed by the breath test. Thus, the understanding the manifestations of gastric mucosa on the different HP infection status can help the endoscopist to carry out other examinations such as immuno stain or breath test. And this would reduce the rate of misdiagnosis of HP current infection and improve the ability to judge people with gastric cancer related risk. And moreover, this Kyoto classification scoring system was used to determine the risk of gastric cancer. And we know that a score of 4 or over might indicate a high risk group of gastric cancer, and the endoscopists should be cautious for this group of patients. And under various HP infection backgrounds, the manifestations and type of gastric cancer are different. Biopsies can be guided by the initial diagnosis of HP infection during endoscopic procedures, and for patients judged with HP infection by endoscopy, if HP is negative for HE stain, and then a breath test should be performed for further confirmation. Therefore, the modified Kyoto classification scoring model was utilized to accurately judge the status of gastric mucosal HP infection, which is crucial in endoscopy for the detection of the early gastric cancer. So Professor Liu, if further research is needed, what would we do next?
I think we can explore and determine the relationship between different endoscopy findings and early gastric cancer. And also we can try to establish a evaluation system for different gastric cancer risks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.